Today on Signals Everywhere, we're going to be taking a look at the Retrogram application, which allows us to essentially use a simple FFT within a command line interface for the PlutoSDR. We'll be doing this today on a Raspberry Pi, so if you're interested, stick around. You're watching Signals Everywhere. So the first thing we're going to want to do, just taking a look at our README here, is we have a couple of prerequisites that need to be installed. We're going to go ahead and copy these here and just paste them into our command line terminal and ensure that all of these particular packages are installed and ready to go before we go to download the application and then compile it on our Raspberry Pi. Coming back over here, we actually want to get a copy of the software. So I'm going to come up to this code tab. We're going to copy this link, and then back over on our Raspberry Pi, we're going to do git clone and then the link to that particular GitHub repository. That's going to git clone or copy that entire repository to the local storage space on our Raspberry Pi. We're going to do a cd into the Retrogram PlutoSDR folder. And then what we're going to want to do here, if we take a look, is if we're running a Linux host with the Pluto connected via USB, Ethernet, or Wi-Fi, just run make. Or compiling the static binary for ARM, we'll run the Raspberry Pi or Pluto with make ARM. I'm actually going to go ahead and run make and make ARM. So we're just going to get all of our bases covered. We'll go ahead and get all of this stuff installed, compiled, and then from there we'll be able to give this program a quick test and ensure that it's running properly. So that compiled pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and take a look here. And you'll see we'll have a Retrogram PlutoSDR and Retrogram PlutoSDR ARM applications both listed in the folder here. And I'm just going to do a /Retrogram-PlutoSDR. We're going to run that as is with no actual commands and see if the application will run for us. So as you can see, we are having some issues getting the application up and running by simply running it on its own. Let's go ahead and hold Control and we'll tap C. That will close out of that application, and we'll take a look back at the README to get more information on how the program is supposed to be run. But at the very least from this point, we know that we have the application properly compiled. So here we have a little command that they have gone ahead and set up for us. We're going to go ahead and just copy that, and we'll try to run that program with these particular flags and see if that's able to function any differently for us. As you can tell, we immediately get this unable to create IIO context. Basically, the software has no idea where the PlutoSDR is. Now, thankfully for us, the PlutoSDR is actually using a network interface, even though it's connected over USB. So what we can do, if you have NetTools installed, and if you don't, you can just run sudo apt install net, I think it's net-tools if I recall correctly. But NetTools is what's going to give you the ifconfig command. We're going to run that, and you can see that we have only two interfaces. Now the PlutoSDR was listed on here at one point, and now it is not. If we run ifconfig, yeah, we can see that's missing. So I'm going to unplug my PlutoSDR, plug it back in, just to ensure that the device is being seen by the computer, and then we'll run the application again. Once you're sure that your PlutoSDR is properly connected, we're going to go ahead and run this application again with the provided options, and the application should start right up for you. Once you have your application up and running, you'll see along the top that the Retrogram PlutoSDR software has several options that will let you change the frequency, sample rate, bandwidth, and other options on the fly right from your command line interface. So in this case, in order to go up in frequency, we would hold Shift and tap the F key. And likewise, to go down in frequency, we can just use an lowercase f to go down in frequency. Same thing works for changing your sample rate as well as your given bandwidth. So this works pretty well, but let's say you want to set up something a little more specific, because obviously, let's say if we wanted to into 445 megahertz, we don't want to hold down Shift and the F key to get there. Go ahead and hit Control and C to drop out of the program, and we're going to modify the original command line string that was given to us from the README. Go ahead up here, and we can see the --freq option here. This is what's going to change our frequency, and then it's appending a certain number of zeros for us to automatically make this in megahertz. So currently we have this as 100E6 or 100 megahertz, and I would like to make this 445 megahertz instead. Get rid of the 100, add 445, and we'll press enter. This will restart our application, and you can see we have our FFT centered on 445 megahertz. And my reasoning for doing that is now I can go ahead and take one of my portable radios tuned to 445.5, which is connected to my MMDVM, and actually show you signals showing up on the FFT itself. KR0SIVU radio check. And you can see on our FFT where that signal comes in loud and clear. Obviously, it is blaring into the front end of the PlutoSDR because even though I am in very low power, the Pluto's right here in front of me. So it is quite a powerful signal. But that's the PlutoSDR Retrogram application. It's a pretty simple application, but if you ever find yourself in a situation where you really need an FFT, but all you have is a command line interface, this is definitely a way to go. I hope that this video was entertaining as well as helpful, because this not only, it might be a simple application, but I feel like at least hopefully in this case, I was able to provide you all with enough information to help you install these applications on your own. And, you're always welcome to ask questions, but going through those README files, you can really find a lot of helpful information that most of the time is able to resolve your issues. One thing I would mention, if you are having problems with your PlutoSDR not being detected, it might be that you just don't have it adequately powered. So the PlutoSDR actually has 2 power connections on it. You might want to power that with both connections just to ensure everything stays up and running. So with that being said, huge thanks to all my subscribers and patrons. I would not be here without all of you, so I greatly appreciate all of your continued support, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye.